Welcome back to Athlete Unscripted with Cindy Depp. Today, our special guest is a Louisville alumni, swim and dive star, and the 2024 NIL Innovator of the Year award recipient, Miss Paige McCormick. Paige, welcome to Athlete Unscripted.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. Crazy 180, but I think it helps me develop relationships with the athletes we work with now, because I'm like, I was in your shoes. I know how hard it is. Just go for it, because the worst you're gonna hear is no.
Imagine facing a challenge every day that could hold you back. But for me, type 1 diabetes isn't a limit. It's a reason to inspire others. Spencer Stand is here to show kids that they can chase their dreams, no matter the obstacle. Through game day experiences, personal workouts, and virtual chats, Spencer Stand brings support, hope, and empowerment to kids with diabetes. Join me in making a stand. Visit spencerstand.com to learn more.
Welcome back to Athlete Unscripted with Cindy Depp. Today, our special guest is a Louisville alumni, swim and dive star, and the 2024 NIL Innovator of the Year award recipient, Miss Paige McCormick. Paige, welcome to Athlete Unscripted.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm so happy to have you sitting in that chair. Okay, we're just gonna dive right into it. You're originally from Cleveland, Ohio, but you graduated from U of L. You came here for your whole college experience. What was that like? Like, what brought you to Louisville, coming from all the way up north in Cleveland?
Yeah, so my recruiting story is a little funny. It's actually one of my favorite stories to tell. I always used to tell recruits this and parents, and they're like, wow, like the impact of Louisville really shows, and it's truly a family. So I was a top 50 recruit graduating high school, going into high school, so had a ton of offers, which was super grateful for, but leaves the possibilities kind of endless. And I had this timeline. My recruiting opened up in July of my junior year. So I wanted to kind of wait till like April, in the middle of my junior year, towards the end. And every coach was like, that's way too long. Like, you're taking way too long to decide. But I was pretty headstrong. Like, I'm going to take my time. This is a big decision.
Right.
Transfer portal wasn't as big as it is now, especially in the Olympic sports. So I knew I wanted to stay there for 4 years if I could. So I had a bunch of visits in like the fall time, kind of stayed at like the ACC, SEC schools. Then I had a bunch scheduled in April. And Louisville was kind of always one that I always loved the conversations, didn't really know exactly where Louisville was, shamelessly. But I had a really good conversation with them in December. And I remember going up to my parents and saying, hey, can we just drive down the 6 hours? They have a Sunday, Monday visit. Like, I really think this could be something good because it's so close. 6 hours is so close.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, sure, like, let's do it. My dad always went on visits with me. And I remember getting on campus and just falling in love with it. Like, it's just like a feeling that when you know, you know. And I could not shake how well the team was. They interacted. I remember every single girl hugged me, and they had no idea who I was. They knew I was a recruit, obviously. But like, it was just such a surreal moment. Mallory Comerford, who was an NCAA champion, world record holder, now one of my mentors and good friends. I remember she came up and hugged me, and I was like, oh my God, Mallory Comerford is hugging me. Like, this is crazy.
Aww.
So it was such a good feeling. I remember leaving the campus, I was able to meet with one of my professors that I've had throughout my whole college career, and I just loved their sports administration program, which for me was huge. So that was in January. I kind of knew that whole week. I didn't really talk to my parents about it. And I remember I was driving to school and I saw a cardinal bird on my way to school. And there was a cardinal bird right by where I parked my car at school. And I was like, this is a sign. So I just knew right there and then that I had to commit to Louisville, called my parents, called Arthur, the head coach, ended up committing within a week. And then funny enough, 2 other girls that were on my visit committed that week as well. So something about that visit and unfortunately had to cancel the rest of my visits, but I feel like it happened at such a good time and was probably one of the best decisions I ever made.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The cardinal birth. That's so
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
What are the odds? When you know, you know.
When you know, you
so
know.
Being 6 hours from home, what was that like? Like, do you have a close relationship with your parents? Like, is it hard being so far?
Yeah, so my parents, they're amazing. They would travel to pretty much every meet that they could. I came in during COVID, so they tried their best to make everything. I actually have a twin brother who ended up going to UK, funny enough. A little sibling rivalry,
Split
house
household.
Divided, of course. So it was really nice to have him so close. Typically, just because of my schedule, he would come over to me a lot. We'd have like lunches, or like I would go over to him during the off season. So it was nice to have family seem so close. And my family loves Louisville. They love going to the Derby. It's just a different area around here.
So fun. Such a fun city.
I love Louisville. Like, I mean, that's why I've stayed. So it's fun to have them enjoy where I'm now living at.
Yes, yeah, and I wanna get into your post-grad life. Obviously, you graduated, a little under a year ago. But first, I wanna jump into some swim stories. See what I did there? Jump into it. Okay. Anyway, you were disqualified from the Olympic trials.
Yes.
What the heck? Share that story. What happened?
Yeah, so this was 2021 Olympic trials, and it's a story that's now I can laugh at. It's near and dear to my heart. So I qualified for 2 events at the Olympic trials, the 200 back and the 400 IM, which if you look at any of my stats, typically weren't the events that I was swimming in college. So it was something kind of a little different just because I had them. So my first event was the 400 IM, and Olympic trials that year was swam in Omaha, Nebraska, same city as the World Series. It's going on at the exact same time.
Oh my gosh.
You're in this giant exposition center. There's a jumbotron while you're swimming, and it's a bit overwhelming. There's lights, everything. You're used to like the dim lighting. There's 20,000 plus seats in this arena, and I remember stepping on those blocks and just it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh. So this was my 400 IM race. And with swimming, there's different rules, like very meticulous rules. Like, it's not like I false started or I did something completely illegal. It was on a turn, my backstroke to breaststroke turn. If you rotate over 45 degrees, you get DQ'd. It's just a rule that they have saying that you're flipping over to your stomach too early. Well, that was me. Didn't even realize it was happening.
Oh my gosh.
And actually during that race, I probably honestly had one of the worst swims of my life just because I was so overwhelmed and scared, and everything just kind of hit me at once.
Under so much pressure.
Yes, and it honestly was kind of a blessing in disguise because I remember I finished, saw my time, was upset, saw the DQ, was even more just like upset, confused. I thought they DQ'd me because I swam so slow. Like, honest to God, I swear, I thought that was my reason, which you can't do. They can't do that. So I remember the officials always come up to you after, and they're like, hey, this is why you got DQ'd. And I apologized to the official. I was like, I'm so sorry. I swear I have the cut time. And he was like, no, it was your back to breast turn. Like, you're okay.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just a obviously devastating moment, but a funny one to now look back on, and it helped set me up for honestly the rest of my career, the next races that I had. So it's just, not a lot of people can say they went to Olympic trials, but there's even a select few that say they got DQ'd. So right. I'm a proud member of the club now, for sure. But it was crazy, yeah.
What a surreal experience. I mean, to go to the Olympic trials, to say I'm about to go to the Olympics, like I could.
Yeah, I could
go
training
to the
for
Olympics. Wow, that's wild. Wow. And that was, what year was that?
That was 2021.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not your senior year.
Not my senior year. I still had plenty more meets left. Like, it honestly helped me just like reset and focus and just make for a great story.
Ooh, it is a good story.
Yeah.
That is good. So your senior year, jumping ahead here, you suffered an injury that held you back. You had a hip injury, kept you out of the pool a little bit. What happened? What was that like? How did it happen? And then mentally, how did it affect you?
Yeah, great question. I feel like any injury is so mentally taxing, and a lot of people forget about that part, especially, I think I was at a very unique situation where I could have taken a 5th year. I kind of knew pretty early on in my career that I wanted to do 4 years. I told the coaches, I signed up for 4 years, I'm giving you my best 4.
I love it.
And that was my mentality going into every single season that I swam. So my junior year, it was fall of my junior year, pretty early. We didn't really have any meets. I started to get like this hip pain. And I'm not one, similar to pretty much any athlete, that's gonna stop during a practice. And I had to stop and get out. And I knew something was wrong, but I wasn't sure what. So tried to just push through it, went on training trip, which is always like the hardest part of our season in December. Came back in January. ACCs for swimming is in February. So I had like a month and a half. And I just still could not get over this feeling of something was off. I could barely sleep. I could barely swim. I wasn't swimming great. So heard a bunch of things, anything from you're fine to the most extreme that you broke your femur to tendonitis. And I was just like, I just need to get through this season and figure this out. So the way we combated that, when you're 6 weeks away from ACCs and they tell you you need to take time off, is my coaches tied me up to a rope, tied that rope up to a ladder, and I swam because so we have an endless pool, which is basically just like all these waves coming at you.
Yes.
But there's only so much you can really do where you can't get through a lot of practices with it. It's just not sustainable. So we're trying to find ways to be creative. So I remember it was one practice where it was open practice to the U of L staff, and they saw me, they're like, "What are you doing?" And for me, it was really the only option because I didn't want to stop swimming, and I didn't want to give up on the team that believed in me, and we did all this work. I was a captain that year. Like, I didn't want to give up because I knew people were watching me. So ended up somehow getting through that ACC meet. It was probably one of the most mentally challenging meets because it's when you know something's wrong and you're waiting to see this light at the end of the tunnel, but you've already done all this work. It's like, I can't give up now. So after that was the end of my junior season. I went to the doctor, Dr. Price. He was amazing. He actually was a swimmer at Miami, and he did my hip labrum surgery. Had that the end of my junior year that summer. So if anyone doesn't know about hip labrum surgery, it takes about 6 months to pretty much get back to normal if you're a normal person. If you're an athlete, it takes about a year to fully recover. So luckily for me, I had a non-impact sport. So swimming's a little bit easier to recover from. So had that surgery, couldn't walk for 5 weeks, was on crutches. It was brutal, and something for me that helped kind of reset me is, it sounds so simple, but I created a TikTok series where I did day 1 to day about 102 when I could officially start swimming again and get back to everything. And it just helped me kind of be grounded, and I could look back weeks after weeks and see my progress. And I didn't realize how much it was actually gonna launch me into this NIL world and advocate world, because still to this day, I had surgery almost 2-3 years ago. People are contacting me, asking me questions about my surgery. So that was definitely something that just made me feel good. It was a mood booster. And then going into my senior year was every mix of emotion you can think of. I know I'm not gonna make the conference team. I'm trying my best to swim as much as I can because I know this is the last time I'm gonna be put in an opportunity like this. And I just had the most amazing teammates. And I remember there was this video, it was the first time I was able to do a start. And I was so nervous. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 months after I could officially had my surgery. And I did it at the end of practice. I didn't want anyone to see me. I was so scared. And I had just one of my coaches videotape it because it's the first time you're jumping, impact in the water. And I remember hearing people starting to scream my name as I get on the blocks. And I'm like, okay, people are watching, this is scary. And it's one of my favorite videos because you see me dive in, you hear people cheer because I did the dive, and then I come up and it's just this roar of a crowd. And it was all my teammates watching and cheering, and it just made me feel so supported because people could see I was really trying to show up every day. And that's just what I wanted to show. I'm here for this team, no matter if I'm giving points or if I'm just helping someone through something. I'm trying to do my own thing. So that was a very special moment for me, just knowing that my team had my back, whether I was scoring points or not. And that really helped reset my mindset. And then finished my senior year. Also a little crazy story. I had mono. So I was out for about 2 weeks. I had to miss my senior meet, my senior year. That was really hard just because you always have this plan. I felt like I had this plan. And it kept derailing, and then I would reset this plan. I was like, okay, I'm going to finish my senior meet. And then I wanted to know my last swim. That was always something I was so headstrong on. So ended up swimming my last meet at Notre Dame, which funny enough was where my brother ended up going to grad school and where my old Louisville coaches now coach. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise because I feel like you always have this plan and there's always a bigger plan for you. And that like really helped ground me and just keep me grateful for everything because it really was, you know, the end of it and just a crazy journey of junior year ending all the way in senior year. But
oh my gosh.
It was wild, yeah.
Wow, that is crazy. But it really is true that the people around you make the experience. Like that story you shared about the video and like jumping in the pool and just hearing all your teammates cheer for you. Like that must have been such a surreal moment for you to be like, oh my gosh, I've gone through all of this with my injury. I've done all of this. And like these people saw my efforts. They saw my energy and my mindset, and they showed up for you because you showed up every single day for you and trying to get back in the pool. So I love that story. I love that. So I want to talk about being in the pool a little bit and specifically what you wear, because this is something that I recently learned as well. The power of the material that you have on. And I know you brought something with you.
A little something.
So tell us like about that. Show us, what it is, the impact that it has, and the difference that it makes in your time.
Yeah, I feel like this is something that's kind of like this hidden secret of the swimming world, and it's really unique to the sport of swimming, which is one reason why I love the sport. So you usually see at the Olympics people wearing, we call them faskins. They're suits all the way down to your knees, both men and women. Well, typically we're not wearing that day-to-day practice. We usually just wear like a normal practice suit that you would see kind of at like a summer league or just like a random practice you would hop in. So I brought one of my faskins because it really is such an interesting aspect of swimming that people don't talk about a lot. So this is the suit. This is actually the suit I wore at my first race. Yes, this fits me. And I'm 5'6". So it's this super tight, it's stretchy material because you're able to get it on, and it has panels, but it's kind of water reflectant, water resistant. So if I went and put this in a pool and then hopped out, I could go like this and it would still be dry.
And the water would just come right up. Yeah. I'm telling you guys, we took this into the bathroom and ran the water over it, went like that. It's dry.
It's dry. And it's one of the hidden secrets of the swimming world that is so unique to us, and it keeps you more buoyant in the water. So an example, if I swam a 500 freestyle, which is 20, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., I would go in a practice suit 5 minutes. So if I wore one of these, I could go 4 minutes and 45 seconds. It's also a little mentality flip because you feel a lot better when you're in these because it makes you more buoyant because it's so tight. And it's just crazy. We always joke we're going to wear these on our wedding day because it's like a Skims bodysuit. But
oh my gosh.
It really is crazy, and it's super thin. I mean, honest story, I've ripped probably 10 of these in my career.
Wow.
So it's just a crazy part of swimming.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy. And these have to be approved.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So there's like certain types that we're allowed to wear in races. So if you look back, this is like getting into super swimming sports knowledge, but in 2008, they had ones that went down all the way to your ankles. So imagine, this takes me 20 minutes to put on. So trying to put one on starting at your ankles is just insane to me.
Full bodysuit.
Everything is covered. So those were made out of like this thick rubber material where it really was, okay, yes, you were the best swimmer, but did you have the best suit? So now they have different regulations for these suits on what you can wear and what logos you can have because you just, like anything, you just want to make sure it's legal and that everyone has a level playing field. So
no unfair advantage.
yes, exactly. So it's a fun little thing swimming has in there.
As a quarterback of a major Division I program, I know a few things about winning. It takes preparation, dedication, and a competitive drive to beat anyone you go up against.
To be a successful trial lawyer, you need to have these same traits. So if you're ready to win, call Thomas Law Offices today.
That is so cool. And I think about other sports, like in basketball and football, people wear, different sleeves, different, patches, different kinds of gloves. And some people wear a leg sleeve in basketball or leggings. And you think about it and there's no real impact that has on for the most part, no big impact that it has on their play and how they play. But when it comes to swimming, that can be a difference of 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's crazy. So aside from athletics, you were also a star in the classroom. You were an excellent student. You were named ACC Academic Honor and on the University of Louisville's AD Honor Roll. What was the academic experience like at Louisville? Obviously, you're a student athlete. Student comes before athlete. But how did the swim and dive staff and coaching staff and everybody in that department, how did they hold you accountable in the classroom too?
Yeah, I think I was really grateful I could major in sports administration. And for me, even going back through the recruiting process, that was my main thing. I wanted to stay in sports, grew up in Cleveland, grew around professional sports. I knew I wanted to stay in this world. So for me, coming to Louisville and them having not only a major undergrad, but a master's program, I knew this is where I could fit in and have opportunities. So I was fortunate to be very passionate about my major. I was kind of very self-motivated, learned that from my parents. But on the swimming side, similar to your sport, you have a team depending on you. And our team GPA is a really big goal on the women's side. We have bracelets where we have our goals, and one of them is our team GPA number that we put on it. So it's discussed throughout the whole year. And I remember this so vividly. It was my freshman year, first semester. I think I had a 3.9, which to me I was ecstatic about. I was like, this is awesome.
That's great.
And we were in this conference room, and it's all the women's team, and our coach reads out one by one everyone's GPA. He goes from highest to lowest. And I'm like, oh, I'm not the highest. I need a 4.0 next time. Because I felt like I let my team down, even though it was, pretty good for a first semester in college. Yeah. So that kind of flipped a switch in me. I was like, oh, I want to have my name on the 4.0 list.
Yes.
So it's a very accountable environment where there's a lot of transparency, but there's also, if you're struggling, you're able to ask for help. I remember asking for tutors for certain, I was in this data analytics class and I just could not understand it, and I had a tutor that helped me, and tutors are required for your freshman year. So it really helped set you up for long-term success, where I ended up graduating my undergrad in 3 years and getting my master's my senior year. So they were really helpful on trying to squeeze everything in, because I also wanted to graduate with my friends. I don't know, it's just I don't know if it's a girl thing, but I want to have those graduation photos with all my friends and walk with them. So they were really helpful on trying to make sure that I had all the credits and everything I needed, so that I was set up not only for success in college, but for after college.
That's so good. And I honestly didn't know that. You have your master's too.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And so you graduated college and a little under a year ago, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so a little under a year ago, you graduated college, and you're now working for 502 Circle, the NIL collective with the University of Louisville. Love it, love it. So getting into the NIL space, obviously as an athlete, you had experience with NIL. Talk a little bit about how you used NIL and how you used your name, image, and likeness, and you reached out to brands. Talk about, people always kind of assume that it's, brands, I want to work with this athlete, I want to do this, but looking at, the Olympic sports and stuff, I feel like it's not really talked about as much, how sometimes you have to do the work as the athlete and reach out to the brands. So talk a little bit about that and share just what you did, your mindset, and how you did it.
Yeah, I think my NIL journey is so crazy, because I was in college during the start of it. So I was starting my sophomore year when the 2021 bill got passed. And my parents are both entrepreneurs. My dad's a CPA. They kind of pushed me a little bit like, hey, you should explore this. And I was like, okay. And I started seeing athletes get that like free PR. And this was in July of 2021. So I was like, I'm just going to reach out to some brands. My mindset early on was, if a brand's already working with this athlete, then they're definitely open to the idea, so I'll at least ask.
I love it.
And I think my first one was actually a local t-shirt company. It was in August of 2021, so was quick with it. Took like some pictures around town, and then had a jewelry company, Every Jewels, which I still wear some of their stuff. So loyal fan here. So it originally started off as just like PR, transactional, and as it kind of grew, I was like, kind of took a step back because I was like, I just need to focus on school. At that point, I was finishing my undergrad, had some one-off deals here and there, very like traditional NIL. Like when you think what it was originally passed for, that's what the Olympic athletes are doing, and that's what I was doing. So that was my sophomore and junior year. I got accepted into the Meta NIL Empower program my junior year, and that truly, or my senior year, that truly like changed my trajectory in the NIL space because I was just exposed to a bunch of opportunities that I originally wouldn't have had. So through there, that helped me kind of actually develop like what is my brand, because I was just kind of doing things one-off. I needed some extra money for my nails. Like, that's truly what my NIL was used for in the beginning.
College kid, you need the money.
Yeah, like it helped pay for rent, gas. So that helped me develop like a brand. So I started a podcast my senior year, kind of similar to this. I called it Mini Mike Monday. And I interviewed different athletes at Louisville just to talk about like their experience with NIL, because it is so different for everyone. Everyone has a different story, similar to recruiting and in life. So that kind of helped me fit into this advocate role that I ended up developing the end of my senior year, where I was able to travel to Washington, D.C., talk to different congressmen and women in Kentucky about all these new changing rules of NIL, because it's still changing, as we know, to this day. So that helped me kind of develop my brand, get set up in this NIL space, but still back to those first couple deals, and honestly still these deals that I have today is just cold calling, cold DMing, cold emailing these brands, and have a little brand kit that I have and explaining who I am and my metrics, because at the end of the day, you want to know how you can benefit their company. And I think I always had a good way of kind of shining light on that, and that's where I kind of strived my best in NIL. And now we're here staying in the NIL space, which I'm so grateful for, because it truly is a passion of mine, being an athlete and then now being in this professional world of it. It's like a crazy 180, but I think it helps me develop relationships with the athletes we work with now, because I'm like, I was in your shoes. I know how hard it is. I would spend probably 4 to 10 hours a week doing my own NIL. I didn't have an agent. I mean, it was crazy at times. I had to stay organized, because I remember one time I missed a deadline and I felt so bad, and you never want to miss a deadline. So it definitely whipped me up into shape, and so grateful for it.
And now, like you said, you get to work with the U of L athletes and the athletic programs and work in the NIL space, and you have firsthand experience of what that's like. So I want to ask, what's your dream NIL brand deal?
Yeah, great question. I've said this like since the start of NIL. Lululemon, I love you. Despite being a swimmer, I wear their stuff all the time. Now I'm like in that post-grad world of working out, still wear Lululemon, so maybe one day, fingers crossed. It's just like, you can't go wrong.
I'm hoping that for you.
Please.
I'm hoping for that. That's so cool. And now you get to help athletes get their dream NIL brand deals, or at least try to, and really just work in that space. So that's really, really fun. So you graduated from U of L, you're living here in Louisville, your family's still in Cleveland.
Yes.
How's that? Is it still kind of the same, just 6 hours away, but you have family here and there? I mean, I know you're pretty close with your family.
Yeah.
So do they come visit often? And how busy is your life now, post-grad?
Yeah, it's definitely been very interesting seeing how it's kind of flipped with my family, because usually they would come and visit me. Well, now I have all this free time as an adult, because it truly does change your schedule.
You're not going to meets on Saturdays and recovering on Sundays. And
like, I can be home Friday afternoon, Friday night, and then leave Sunday night. So it's really nice to be able to go up and travel. I actually have a brother and sister who are in their senior year of high school, so I've been able to travel super often for all their senior nights and everything like that. And my twin brother lives up in Covington now, so he's still an hour and a half away, which is super nice. And my family and I try to see each other at least once every 2 months, which I'm so grateful that they're able to either make the trip down or I can make the trip up. So it's nice to have them so close still.
Yeah. And especially because you're close with them. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to ask, who would you say, growing up and in your life, who's been the biggest role model for you? And who's someone that's had a great impact on your life?
Yeah, I would probably say both my mom and dad, just because, I mean, first off, my family has 2 sets of twins, which let alone is crazy.
Has that always been your fun fact?
That's always been my fun fact. It's been so nice. Icebreakers.
I'm a twin.
Yes.
And there's 2 more.
It's the easiest icebreaker, so I'll always thank them for that, because it's hard to have a lot of creativity out here. So just managing that and having instilled values in us that I've realized has carried me so far in life, even through my athletic career. Like just working hard, late night hours, early mornings. Like my dad was always up at 5 a.m. going to work, and he'd get back around dinner time. So they always taught me how hard to work and how far it can take you. So I think for them, it was always something that I still idolize to this day, because they're equally working as hard as they were back then, maybe even harder now. So I see where they've kind of set us up and set me up, and I'm always grateful for that. So they'll always be my role models.
I love it. What is a lesson that they taught you that has impacted your life, that's stuck with you?
That's a good one. I would probably say the biggest lesson I learned from them was going above and beyond in anything you do. So for me, early on, it was swimming. Like I would go in on Sundays, I would do extra work. I would come 30 minutes, an hour before practice to get in, extra stretching and rehab and prehab and things like that. So it really helped me through my athletic career, and now it's helped me through this NIL career of putting in the extra work and doing things that people might not want to do, but something that you have to do to get what you want. And I think
reaching out to brands
and hearing no. Like I think they've always taught me to just keep going, and no is not a finished sentence in the business world. And I think that's what they really taught me. And just keep going till you hear yes, and you're asking the wrong person if you hear no. And I think they really helped me and instill that, and they still do it now, even when I'm trying to navigate these business deals and learning from everyone. So they've taught me a lot. Yeah.
Wow. You'll get 99 no's before you get a yes.
Yeah.
But you'll get that yes.
It takes one.
It just takes one. That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good. So then on the flip side, like your family, they've instilled all these values and like taught you so much growing up. What has swimming taught you? What's a lesson that you have learned in the pool?
Yeah, I think swimming, funny enough, has taught me how important it is to have a team, which is very interesting because swimming is more
individualized sport.
Yes. And I think I didn't really realize it till I came to Louisville, is how much a team can impact your well-being and your passion for something. Because at Louisville, and I think at any college, like your teammates are there because they want to be there, and you all have this one goal. And I think for me, it taught me how much I can help other people and they can help me, like vice versa. And I didn't realize that when I started swimming, because I thought, this is individual. I'm going to do what I need to do. And realizing how much people depend on you and you depend on someone taught me a lot, especially now getting into this professional world where importance in team development and leadership really is.
That's so good. Wow. Even though it's an individual sport, it's a team sport.
It is, yeah.
Because the people around you make it.
Yeah.
That's so good. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time today. And any final words for Card Nation or anybody tuning in? Maybe advice you'd give to some swimmers out there that are young in their career, or somebody thinking about diving into the NIL space.
Yeah, my advice would be just create your own path. There's no right or wrong way to do something. Everyone has their own path, so just find something that you're passionate about and just go for it, because the worst you're going to hear is no. And for Card Nation, thank you guys for all the support, especially as an athlete and now going into the collective side. And it's truly been something special to know that fans always have your back and how tight-knit this community really is.
They're dedicated fans.
Yeah, I love you, Card Nation.
Lots of love. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.